Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, good afternoon, everyone. I hope we are all good. Yeah. So, this is the first in a series of meetings where we are basically trying to understand the communication.
Someone has dropped too. Oh.
Yeah, two people actually, Lawrence and Eric, but Eric is rejoining, so I'm sure Lawrence will be coming on shortly. Okay, he's also joining.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry, no more interruptions.
Okay.
Official.
Fin commenting officer. Officer Sena equals one holding.
Amen.
Okay. So, this is the first in the series of meetings just to kind of get us conversant with the email platform. So I think for this very first meeting, what I'm going to talk about is the various main interfaces, how they communicate with each other, and where we might find where if we need to find it. So after that, then I think any questions, then that'll be the session for today. In the next session, we probably look at the Amazon platform and then how we also communicate with it. Okay. So currently, if I remember adequately, well, we have two main items. I take it most of the team here are conversant with what Nalo does, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. Yeah, but we have our application, which is the front end and back end, and just for purposes, I'm going to lump it up into just one. So I'm just going to call this the message platform. Okay. So we have the message platform, and with this message platform, in both the present and the existing one, for SMSs and emails, what we perform on our side is, perform the formatting, handle contact and all that stuff, and we forward it to the provider. So on our terms here, it's very similar to what's happening in the email. So with the messaging platform on the email side, we create an email, format the email, handle the contact templates and all of that. And then once we have the email and the contact information, we forward it to our provider, where our provider here is Amazon SNS. No, Amazon email, simple email something. Let me get an actual name, just a minute.
Simple email service.
Okay, so Amazon
SES.
simple emails. Yes, SES. So Amazon SES, yes. So on the messaging platform, we forward it to the Amazon SES. Amazon SES then forwards the email to the user and then receive callback information. So in a typical structure, in a typical loop, and where here the loop is, user is going to receive the email and we are going to get notified. In a usual loop, what happens is all the stuff happens here, and I know you guys have been working with the code, so you are aware of what happened on the messaging platform. I don't know, maybe later if that would come up, I would touch into how the messaging platform works. But what happens here is, so today I'm going to concentrate on this part of the application. I'm going to concentrate on, I'm going to concentrate on this part and
Hello,
also, hello, Mina.
Is your breaking?
Okay. Where unfortunately I'm using my phone's Wi-Fi, so that might be a reason. Okay, let me know where I broke off, and I will go back and repeat.
It's okay. We heard it.
Okay.
Mina
All
is
right.
from you.
So And Amazon SES, to hit the Amazon SES, the documentation is very well documented. So that's already an assignment for you guys to basically read the Amazon SES documentation. I think it's this. Just a minute whilst I get the actual documentation. Yes. So for the Amazon SES in Python, we use a package called Boto3. Let me drop that into the chat so that you guys can get it to. How do I get the chat? It's been a while. Oh, there. Okay. So Boto3 is the name of the Python package we use, and it basically interfaces with every single element of Amazon, not
Can
just
you-
the SES.
Can you give us that URL instead?
Sure. I want to get the actual. So there are two SESs, if I remember correctly. There's SES and SES2. So let me get them. And they can be used interchangeably. Remember this? Yes. Okay. So there's SES. SES2 hasn't been deprecated yet. So there's SES and there's SES version 2. And if I remember correctly, I don't know if I switched over to SES version 2 entirely, or we are using both SES and SES version 2. They all have the way they are being called and their endpoints. So that's the documentation for SES. All these actually are Amazon specific APIs. They all included in Boto3. However, what we want is a SES. Yes. So with the SES version, because these are the endpoints available for us as the SES. And if I remember correctly, we are using send email. I don't think we are using send bulk email. I think that's available in version 2 and not version 1, or the templates. I've forgotten the actual reason we are using. Let me quickly confirm it. Give me a minute. Yes, send email. Let me check this. Yes, so that's why we are using the send email, because for the send bulk email, we would have to configure a template in Amazon. We will talk about that when we get there. So we use the send email structure to send the email into the Amazon SES. And what we do is, this is basically the API. So all the information you need is sent over, it's over here. The from email address, from identity, the destination, where destination is, who the email is going to, CC, BCC, and all of that. So what we do over here, we do is all the pretty click and all the metrics and all the stuff we do over here. Eventually, we convert it into this and we push it to Amazon. Yes. So once we push that to Amazon, an email is sent. So that's how we call the Amazon email endpoint. And once we send, so yes, as you can see, everything is defined here. All the parameters are defined here. And if I remember correctly, yes, so the return type is also there. It returns a dict with the message ID. So message ID is the unique ID. If you access the database, I think I don't have access to Nalo systems, but I remember the DB name. If you access the database and you search for, I think it's email backend dot email log, where email log is, we save the log of every single email. So even if it's 100,000 email blast, we have a log, which I think that's what I spoke with either Andy or IFO. Yeah, they purge that table, but in that email log, for every single row, we would be able to find the message ID that was returned to us from Amazon. So once we send it, we get a message email ID, and that's what we use to track the message. Yes. So that is basically the communication from our messaging platform to the Amazon SES. Yeah. However, prior to this, there are a couple of things that needs to be done. One, we need to make sure that the from that we have over here from email address is a verified email address. And by a verified email address, I mean, I cannot use kwekumenu@something.com while that email address does not exist. I need to show that I own that email address. And the way there is an API, if I remember correctly, that we use to perform that. Let me see. It's called verification. I remember working on it with someone. I don't remember if the person is still on this team. It's still here, but I think it's send custom verification email. So custom verification email is basically, you've all seen it before, where we want to make sure the email the user has registered. So I'm talking too plenty. You are all engineers. It's basically OTP, email OTP. So we use that email OTP to verify that you own that actual email you are claiming to send. You own that email you are claiming to send from the message platform. Yes. So if I remember correctly, on the messaging platform, we have a whole page and a whole system dedicated to that, where the user puts in his email. We call this endpoint, and when the user clicks it, it hits our endpoint API. We have an endpoint API set for us. So once the user clicks or we detect activity over there, that means the user owns the email, and we can allow the user to send the email to it. However, let me raise this point. On this platform, and it's something I believe we should all be made aware. On Amazon SES, Amazon sees us as one entity. By seeing us as one entity, Amazon sees us as null, right? So anything that comes from this endpoint, Amazon is going to treat it as null. So that means if user A whitelists an email address, if user A whitelists an email address and user B uses the same email address, on Amazon's side, it will get through. I believe we have a way we are managing it on our side. I've forgotten how it is, but I just wanted to let you know that caveat. Yeah. So if the email address is not a valid email address, I've forgotten the error code that comes, but it has its own corresponding error code.
Can you please repeat that point?
Yes. So as I said, on Amazon SES, every call it receives from the messaging platform, it receives it from Nalo, as in Nalo, the company, right? So if user A has whitelisted email address a@a.com, and user B is somehow able to skip that. I remember we are currently checking it. I remember we are quite checking it in both. I don't know if you've established an API calls for the emails, but I know that we are checking it in the front end interface, where we make sure that user A has whitelisted a@a.com, right? However, if user B uses a@a.com, and user A has whitelisted a@a.com, it would go through. However, this was something we already saw, and I believe we've already implemented the handling and the workaround over here. Do you get it, or I should go over it again?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So that's something you should take notice of. So probably if the endpoints, if you are working on an API where you just can integrate into their system, that is something we should keep in mind and also check. Yeah.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
The verification message that is sent, is it Nalo that pays for it, or Amazon takes care of that? It's when you are verifying email.
Interesting question. I don't remember them billing it for us, because ideally verification, I mean, how many times are you going to verify in a billing cycle? Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't remember there being charging for verification. Yeah.
Okay.
So my answer is I do not know, but I do not
Okay.
believe so.
Okay.
And to touch on the verification, there are two types of verification that can be done. One type of verification is the email address, which is a@b.com. And the second type is we can validate a whole domain name, for example, at nalosolutions.com. Yes, for example, at nalosolutions.com. However, there are certain known issues, and I'm going to take you through the known issues. So for just a minute, for companies that take security very seriously, and I've seen it happening across a lot of banks, for the verification, it works on something called DKIM signature. I've got what DKIM stands for. So what happens is Amazon basically signs the message that, yes, I've validated that this message is coming from a@a.com. Right. And Amazon is able to sign because, so is it, I can't make this bigger. Are you able to see adequately though?
We can see.
Okay. So user at example.com, and then what's the other one? Come on. And then user at, let me call this security. No, let me call this secure. Let me change secure to house. Okay. So we have user at example.com and user at house.com. There will be some situations where verification emails will be sent to both endpoints. However, user at example.com emails will be going out beautifully, but user at house.com email will not be going. However, when you check the logs, you are going to get something like DKIM signature field. So for some of these, the reason why the DKIM signature fails, and I've realized this happens with usually banks and those companies, is there is a condition that's been added to the CNAME record where they do not allow signing by third parties unless the domain name itself is aware of it. Companies like google.com, I think Yahoo and Microsoft, they're kind of relaxed about that. I saw this happening with, I think, about 2 banks where the user won't get the verification email verified beautifully. Amazon would confirm that the user has verified, but we are getting a DKIM error. In that situation, what we need to do is we need to give Amazon the power, not Amazon. We need to make the domain name aware where the domain name here is house.com. We need to make house.com aware that, hey, house.com, Amazon now wants to use house.com to sign your emails. And with that, we have to use the domain name signing. That's a domain name verification. Let me see if I can find verification for domain name endpoints here. The last time. The last time I worked on it, I remember I had to work on it from the Amazon platform itself. Okay. Okay, so it looks like there is. Okay, so it looks like create email identity also caters for that. Email identity, yes. So email identity, the email address or domain to verify. Yes. So through this, so the way we are able to tell house.com, that's hi house.com. Amazon now wants to be able to use house.com to, validate and send emails is we get a CNAME. We get a CNAME record, and that CNAME record is inserted. So Amazon will produce a CNAME record, and with that CNAME record, we place it in house.com's domain name, and then now Amazon would be able to sign. So that now any user at house.com would also work. Should I go over that again, or no? I think questions on that. Let me answer questions on that. Yeah.
Can you said the last time you did that you had to do it from the console. This one that
No,
you showed,
from the Amazon platform, their web application.
yeah, okay, that's what I was.
Okay.
What you showed us right now, does that also generate it for you via API or something?
Yes. So there's a thing. The API does more than what the Amazon web application does.
Okay.
It has way more items you're able to use more than the web application. So basically, the web application is built on the API. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm okay.
Okay. Any other question before I move forward? Okay. So once the email leaves this platform and hits Amazon SES, we've already signed our domain, we've already signed our email users and all of that. So once it hits Amazon, we get our message ID and we save that in, I think it's called email single log or single email log or something. Yeah, and that's where we save it. One advantage of email over the SMS is email really don't care if your device is on or off. Your email address is basically open all the time. So usually the callbacks are just like PAM, we get a callbacks immediately. However, to get more money, Amazon does not allow Amazon SES to send callbacks. It's an entirely new service that is called Amazon SMS, which stands for Simple Notification System. And in the Amazon SNS, the Simple Notification System, it can be sent via multiple channels. It can be HTTP, HTTPS, emails, SMS, whichever ones. So this is a configuration that's already done. For this, I believe it wasn't important for us to go into the documentation, but I believe there would be SNS. Yep, there is SNS. Yeah. So we have an SNS. So we have what's called a topic, and I've forgotten the name of the topic, but I think it's called email general, either general email or email notifications or something, but that is the name of the topic. So think of the topic like a YouTube channel, and then we have endpoints that subscribe to the topic, right? So if you are using any other Amazon service later, that's in maybe you're using the EC2 instances, and I know we are using EC2 instances in certain scenarios, we can also create topic for those EC2 instances and allow the same endpoint or different endpoints to subscribe to the same topic. So we have a general topic that covers all endpoint calls for the emails. For the emails, if I remember correctly, the various endpoints, the various possible states of emails are sent, delivered, opened, bounced, blocked, and you guys are actually more conversant in this than I am. So we have a general endpoint that receives, sorry, we have a general topic that receives all these notifications. I believe that's adequate. However, if you believe that's not adequate, you can create a topic, and all that topic does is it contains just negative responses, where negative responses are failed, bounced, and you have a topic that has just positive responses and all of that. That's a user design decision. But we have a topic which contains every single thing, opened, closed, all of that. And when it comes to Amazon SNS, we have a couple of endpoints that are subscribed to this topic. We have the endpoint that's hitting the production the production instance. We have the endpoint that's also hitting the testbed instance. So I think, was it Eric? One of you guys asked how to get it off the testbed instance, and I mentioned. So what you have to do is you have to unsubscribe from the topic from the Amazon SNS platform. So let me number this.
Hello.
Yeah.
I have a question on the topic. You mentioned that we have a general topic and everything is under that general topic. We have both positive and negative responses delivered and open, all those ones. How do you, okay, number one, where do you create a topic? Is it SNS or SES? And how do you link the different statuses, the open, those ones to that particular topic that has been created?
Okay. So I'm pretty sure, yes. So as you can see, it also can be done via the API. That's the set event destination. However, it also can be done on the Amazon web application.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, there is a tab called notifications, and you see the list of all available notifications for
Okay.
Amazon.
Okay.
Sorry, not for Amazon, apologies, for the SES.
Okay, for SES, okay.
Yes.
So when you create, you just like add the various notifications you want to receive.
Yes, there's
okay.
actually no need to work on it to touch that part of the application, unless probably you no longer want to receive a type of notification via that topic again. But once you open the platform, you would find all the various notifications, all the various possible statuses of an email, and then you group them. And because Amazon is aware of the various applications in itself and how to play and how to, just a minute, let me close this thing before. So once you create the topic in SES and you go to SNS, you would find the topic you created over there.
Okay. And topics are also created under, for lack of better word, let me just say the company, Nalo here.
Yes. However,
where Nalo is not the accounts.
However, you can, for the topics, you can define topic to a granular level as much as who sent it. So you could decide, so if in the occasion, let's say maybe you want a reseller who wants to receive endpoints on their own, and you don't want to tax your system to receive the endpoint from Amazon and then forward it to the reseller's endpoint, you can decide to tie it that, so let me see here, where is it? In this API, send email API, there is a way, it's called something configuration or something. Yes, configuration set name. You can use a configuration set name to determine what topic to use. If you do not set a configuration set name, it will use the default topic.
All right.
Are we okay?
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, okay. So email moves from the messaging platform, and then it moves from the messaging platform to the SES. SES sends the message to wherever. So I'm going to call this wherever because I don't know where the user is receiving the email from, right? So I'm just going to call this generic email client. Yes. So generic email client. Great. Okay. So on the first send, it moves from messaging platform to Amazon SES. And then the second step in this is number 2, SES confirms receipts, returns message ID. Right. So once it confirms receipts and gets message ID, the third step is it sends to generic email client. So the generic email clients in this scenario can be Yahoo, Google, if people still use Yahoo, and the rest. So it forwards to clients, and yeah, and that is the flow. So like that's the forward flow. Yeah. Just a minute. Let me make this a little bit so that I want you to see this happens in the same call, right? The response for number 2. So let me put number 1 here. Expand this a little bit to give us more space. Okay. Okay. So we call first, and then we receive this as a response. The one received as a response, it forwards it to the client. Yeah. So now what happens is we start receiving the endpoints and the endpoint calls. And the way the endpoint calls happens, we have the Amazon SNS, and it basically handles that. So I think, let me delete this because SES does not talk back to us. It's SNS that talks back to us. So in the generic email client, based on what the user does, whether he opens the email, he receives the email, deletes the email, reports it as a bounce or whatever. So I think I remember, what's his name? Eric asking a question about seeing some really weird Amazon URLs. It's those URLs that we use to receive the various endpoints call. It is possible to configure those URLs to use Nalo's URLs. However, that would need more programming work on our side. And if Amazon is handling it currently, I don't see the need for us to do that. So for all types received, sent, opened, bounced, it's forwarded to Amazon SNS. Amazon SNS then finds the topic it belongs to. Once it finds the topic, it then pushes it to all the subscribers under that topic. And for the subscribers under that topic, we receive the endpoints. So, so for an email can go to, I think, either 2, 3, or 4 states. It is sent, users received, users opened. So that would be like the ideal 3 status: sent, received, open. However, it can be sent, received, opened, blocked, sent, received, straight to spam, sent, bounced, and yeah. So the updates can change. I mean, a user can receive it today, but open it in the next 3 days or something like that. So the 4th step is status updated to email states. And yes, so once it hits the Amazon SNS, then the next step would be that the 5 alerts Nalo endpoint. And yeah, that's more or less the email application and how it works, more or less. Yes. Any questions?
Yeah,
Mhm.
So, okay. So the Amazon SNSN, the notification part.
Mhm.
So that's where we do the configuration for the endpoint.
Yes, that's where we do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So whatever happens between from SES to the
Mhm.
generic email recipient
Mhm.
and the SNS, right?
Mhm.
We have no control.
We have no control.
So
We all. Mhm.
whatever comes out from that particular black box,
Mhm.
that's what we based on to do our decisions or make our decisions.
Yes. And the other thing too is, I don't know, I remember Anthony mentioned he might be working on something called CloudWatch or something. I don't know if that's implemented. However, one, I would say, negative side is we are not able to view logs here. Like there's nothing for login here, and there's nothing for login here. What we rely on for login is this number 2, where we get a message ID, where we get a message. Let me change this to message ID. Where we get a message ID, and number 5, what we get at a endpoint. Sorry, what SNS sends us. So we heavily, so for the email there, I'm telling you, even if it sneezes scramble, I remember I'm logging it. Because we are not able to go here or here. Tony mentioned he may be able to do something with CloudWatch. I don't know how far that went, so I believe you might need to ask him over there. Yeah.
Okay, I think that CloudWatch for our normal SMS.
Okay. Oh, okay. So once it hits here, right, it's more like we cross our fingers, we pray to God, we read our logs to see. And at least one good thing I noticed during my time and during testing and all this, it hasn't failed. If anything failed, it was because we were at capacity over here. We're at capacity over here, because imagine sending out 100,000 email blast. So as soon as you send out 100,000 email blast, email is not SMS. Ebetrain Akacho says sent. So that means you are also getting roughly 10,000 per minute hit on your endpoints. So you are basically DDoS in yourself. So that was one major challenge. Yes, you get it. So the bigger the blast, the more liable you are to DDoS in yourself. So to handle that, I believe like that one there, it was through. Hello.
Please, what is DDoS?
Denial of service. It's basically your application gets so many calls that it cannot work again. Do you remember when we built the application for YEA? And then we handed it to them and they went to make plenty radio noise. And then they came back crying to us that, oh, people cannot access their service. Because their Apache was set to receive 1,000 unique requests and handle unique requests. So yeah, they were receiving plenty calls. Nalo's system, however, is quite, we have uncapped it. We are able to receive as many calls as possible. However, it is not infinite. Yes. So initially, the reason why we're DDoSing ourselves was, once, I wouldn't touch that. We would get to the optimization when we get there, but we've been able to handle it to a certain extent. Yes. But when we get to that part of the discussion, we will talk about some of the decisions I made, the reasons behind those decisions. And if you guys want to change it, then you go ahead and change it. But yes.
Okay, so I don't know if it's one of the costs, but
Mhm.
we were to send 500,000 blast email
Okay.
on behalf of GCB. We pushed the blast all right, but at the end of the day, I was told only 50,000 was what was captured in the reports. I don't know.
If I
There's-
remember correctly, how many emails are we limited to per day?
that has
Did we-
been
Okay, it has been increased.
Yeah.
Okay.
we were requested for that increase. So it's the 500,000 was okay. But
Hmm.
the reports show that only 50,000 went out.
Mm.
Yes.
If I remember correctly too, I feel as if, I may be wrong, I may need to look into the code again. I feel as if we are also restricting the amount to prevent, another way, if I remember correctly, to prevent this is, even though it's 500,000, what we are doing on our side is we are restricting to, I think, either 4 per second or 5 per second emails out of the system. So, okay, I would need to look into the code to confirm this. But yes, Francis, you may be right that it's possible we choked ourselves out, and the endpoint. So currently, 2 or 3 things are coming to mind. One, we may have choked ourselves out by DDoSing ourselves. 2, sometimes what I realize happens is 2 and 5 sometimes happen so quickly that 5 would come before 2, right? And if 5 comes before 2, 2 does not exist. 2 does not exist. So 5 cannot update itself. So what happens is, but there is, okay, so before I talk to that, because if I talk about that, I'm talking about the code we've written to perform the updates, which is another training session on its own.
Yeah, we can relegate. This is a use case. So
Yeah,
let's
so it's a use
relegate.
case. So let's relegate that to see how better we're able to handle that. Because I remember that there's some shaggy things over there and some multiple retrying over there and stuff. And also to better understand it, I think I don't think I still have access. So probably if the person has access, a user will need to share his screen and I take them through. Yeah. So
Pete, do you have a retry callback feature on Amazon?
define retry callback feature. I believe we do. I believe is either 2 retries or 5 retries, and it retries if it doesn't get a 200.
Okay. So
I'm
do
not.
you also,
Go ahead.
do you also have one for the delivery status?
Define delivery status.
So what SNS sends us, that is at 0.5.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
We do. I remember that existed because of a blast that was done. A blast was done during some Christmas period via email, and I remember I implemented a retry in that. So we have a retry on 5. For a retry from here to here, I think I would have to confirm. But when I read on it, it retries X number of times. And once it fails, it fails. I don't know if it gets me from SNS to, however, what I would say is if you can, kindly confirm for me.
Okay.
Kindly confirm for me. Confirm it. Sorry, Francis, you were breaking.
No, I haven't said anything.
Okay.
I don't know.
So confirm it for me, but I believe the X is either 3 or 5, but there's an X number
What
of
is it?
times.
Confirm where? Is it
Yeah,
in the
so to confirm it, we can,
docs?
no, it wouldn't be in the docs, it will be here.
I
It will be
mean,
here.
you confirm it in the
SNS.
SNS. Okay.
Yes.
You,
SNS.
okay.
So the
maybe-
SNS platform, I think it would be under, it wouldn't be on the topic. It would be the URL subscribed to the topic.
you don't have
Because
that.
it's been a while since I tried, so I don't think I have access. Yes.
All right.
So
Okay.
it will be on the topic, that HTTP call that points to our server. There's some configuration that can be done on that, not the topic, but the subscriber to the topic. Because yeah, each subscriber is different. Yeah. So it will be on the subscriber to the topic. Yeah.
Subscriber, so subscription. And the subscriptions are all the callback URLs.
That maybe it's been a while since I accessed it, but I know there is a subscriber to a topic. Is someone looking through currently?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. So you should
Can
find.
I share my screen and then
Sure, go ahead.
you see
Okay.
this?
Great.
So
So
this is another topic.
yeah, so that's the topic, Nalo email notification. So that's the topic for all our email notifications. So as you can see, all these endpoints are subscribed to this topic. So that means we are sending to everything here.
Mhm.
Yes. So let's pick
And-
the first one. Okay, so there's delivery retry policy. Sorry,
You are
can you see the delivery retry policy?
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
This policy defines this one, retries fail this one, okay. And to apply
Okay,
this
so-
policy, I did this, we don't have anything here.
This is, let's look at the production one. This looks like the testbed one. So let's
Still under
find,
topic. It should
Yeah.
be this.
okay, so let's look at delivery retry policy. Okay, so it looks like
Okay.
mine, yeah. Okay, so let's edit, click on edit and let's see. Yeah. The last option.
Delivery retry policy.
Yeah, it's checked.
Mm,
Yeah, so it was 3 times.
okay.
The back off, can we change the back off from linear to, what are the options?
Back of this one.
Yes, we can, let's change it from linear to, is quadratic an option?
We
Exponential will be better.
we don't even have it here.
I'm pretty sure this, yes, I'm sure we cannot edit it here, but I'm sure we can edit it via API. So if you can change it from linear to exponential, that'll be great.
Okay.
Yeah, so kindly take note of that. Yeah.
But it's not being part of the thing here. Is it taking effect? I don't know if you can-
Okay, got to that's interesting. This policy defines some as an SNS price. Okay, go to topic and let me check something. Let's go to topics. Let's go to email there. Yes, let's go to that topic. And go to delivery retry policy for that topic.
Okay. So we have it here.
It's there. So it looks like it's there. However, I think so I think what's happening is probably the retry policy, because
Yeah,
looking at the
I see
retry
that.
policy
Then I
now.
think
Yes.
we can
What are the
change it
options?
here now.
The exponential. Great. Let's
Mhm.
make the exponential.
That's
Okay,
what's
I don't
exactly.
need to. Okay, so for the linear, what it's doing is that is 20 seconds, right?
Mhm.
So it's going to try 20 seconds. then it's going to wait, try 20 seconds again, then it's going to wait and try 20 seconds again. So that means if you are sending a blast, it's still going to be choked.
Mhm.
But with exponential, for each try it fails, it's going to increase their time exponentially.
Okay.
So instead of waiting 20 seconds, it's going to be 20 raised to the power x. So
Where-
at least
Mhm.
where x is, I'm sure we have to read to find what x is.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, so I think probably min delay, maybe increase max delay to maybe 30 seconds or something to allow here. But I'm pretty sure, let's read it. Great. And lower than 3,000, that's an R. Okay, so 30 seconds. It's not explaining what is using as X for the exponential, but yeah.
Okay. I can say this.
Hold on, number of retries 3. Then minimum delay retries must be lower than the number of retries. So minimum delay and maximum must be lower than the number of retries. Okay, let's.
This says must be 1 or greater.
Okay, put one in there. I'm not comfortable with that. I'm not so comfortable with that. I believe I might need to read a little bit more into that.
Okay.
I believe I might need to read more into that. Actually, I'm not going to read more into that. I would say people should read more into that. So this is HTTPS topic under SMS. You can read it either under Boto3, or you can read it on Amazon's SNS dedicated documentation. So Boto3 is specific to Python. However, there is also documentation that cuts across everything. Yeah.
Okay. See, one more question before we take that your optimization lecture. I could
Could you come again? Sorry, my background was a bit noisy.
Okay, I'm going to one more question before we start your optimization lecture or what you have for us on optimization. On the endpoint, I could see we have a number of endpoints over there being verified, right, or being confirmed.
Yes.
Does it mean the more you have multiple endpoints, it serves as a load balancer or kind of way of sharing the load on your infrastructure with regards to the services?
Okay, so first I'll talk about the confirmed, and then I'll talk about the comments you made. So the confirmed is basically we want to make sure the application wants to make sure your endpoint is receiving the endpoint correctly. So it will send you a sample format of the endpoint you receive with an ID in there. And then once you insert the ID, it's confirmed and it knows the endpoint is working. Now for the other one, yeah, I think it can work in that way. So that probably if one endpoint is choked, the other endpoints can configure. The other endpoints can work. So yeah, you can use that as a configuration, as a load balancer. If you have maybe different instances set up. Yeah, Alex, that's correct. So if you have different instances set up, then a choke or backward, now it can push. But the thing here is that, remember that, so over here we have, I don't know, Alex, Eric, your screen is still being shared.
Oh, okay.
So in what Eric shared, you could see there were several endpoints. So that means, remember, we get charged for every notification that's sent out. So I believe you will need to clean that list crumple.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. I just put them to make money.
I mean, the endpoints that you have there.
But you're also all the endpoints are subscribed to the topic.
I thought it's one-time charge for.
It is not one-time charge. So if you're sending out 500,000 emails, it is 500,000 notifications times the number of endpoints subscribed to that topic. And each email is changing statuses about 3 times. So that's 1.5 million times X number of times topic subscribed.
I honestly don't recognize some of these endpoints here. but
Yeah, some of them
I don't know if
were,
you can-
yeah, so you can clean them. You can,
Okay.
some of them were EC2 instances we set up, we lost, and all of that during configuration. But yeah.
I guess this one and they will have to do that.
Oh, you can work
Otherwise, I'll
together.
be causing trouble somewhere if I delete something.
What I would advise you is you need to work with the dev team to see which ones are their valid test beds URLs, and then we use that.
Okay. Well, I think they also have access to this one,
Yeah.
so they can-
Unfortunately, my time is almost up. Any questions before we have our next scheduled meeting?
I'd wanted to ask about where to find the this one, the topic that was created for SNS.
The topic was created inside Amazon SES.
SES
Nalo-
rather.
The Nalo email notif IRN.
Yeah.
So since Amazon wants SNS to play with each of its services, it allows for you to create topics in the unique instances. So I can create a topic in EC2, I can create a topic in SNS, I can create a topic in my bucket, in my S3 bucket. And then when I come to SNS, I find a topic over there.
Okay, so this particular one was created where SNS or SES?
SES.
SES.
Yes.
Where do I go to see that
Go to,
topic?
I think it's under configuration sets.
This
Go
one?
to default notifications.
I didn't see anything proper.
Events destinations. There.
Email notif endpoint. Email notif M. This is ARN. But it's this one.
Click on it.
Okay.
You can see it's clickable.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So thanks. I think I
As
just
you can
wanted-
see, you can see the various events type underneath it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. So you can edit it. Okay. Yeah. I see it now. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, guys. So thank you for your time. Please, if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the WhatsApp chat. I'll answer it when I read it. Sorry to run off, but I'll let Mina to know our next training time. It will either be Friday or same time next week. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone, and I'll speak to you later.
All right, thank you.
Okay then.
Thank you
Bye.
too. Bye bye.
Bye.